I am the co-founder and publisher of Ballad.
My name is Tobi and I am the co-founder and editor of Ballad. We produce content, we produce monthly events. I decided to create a platform that I would be happy with as a reader and as a writer.
Marketing and media, they're like brother and sister. We are business partners, we're co-founders, but we are also engaged. Actually, memberships and subscriptions was a thing that was going to become a lot more popular over the next half decade.
I don't want to be, oh God, they made Forbes. And then what else?
Hi guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you doing today?
Good.
A bit cold.
Yeah. How was your journey here today?
Pretty straightforward. Or for me anyways, it's pretty straightforward.
Awesome. How are you feeling about being on mochunkstv?
A little bit nervous. I'm sure it'll be fun. It's good. Honour to be here, of course.
Awesome. So would you like to introduce yourselves and what you do?
Okay, so my name is Bola. I am the co-founder and publisher of Ballad.
My name is Tobi and I am the co-founder and editor of Ballad.
Awesome. So Ballad, tell us about that.
Ballad is a lifestyle brand for black women in the UK, and its mission is just to help black women in Britain live their best lives. We do that in 3 ways. So we produce content, we produce monthly events, and we provide our women with discounts to black-owned businesses. The little twist about Ballad is it's actually a membership service. So members pay a monthly or annual fee to read all the content, get discounts to the events, and have access to the discounts to the black-owned brands that we've partnered with.
Okay. Where did the idea for Ballad come from initially?
Oh, I'm talking about a lot.
It's your story to tell. I'll chip in later on.
So I'm a journalist, pretty much got my job a few months after uni, and started to realise or started to be able to articulate that mainstream media, especially mainstream women's lifestyle magazines, didn't represent black women, or if they did represent black women, it was usually a misrepresentation of black womanhood. And I became increasingly frustrated about this, and then I started to realise that I was usually the only black woman, or usually the only woman of colour in the room. I was working in these environments, ended up getting a full-time job for about 18 months, then lost my job, and then I was freelancing, and I just realised that I really just wasn't happy with the media. And I decided to create a platform that I would be happy with as a reader and as a writer, because I didn't feel like it was anything that was speaking to me as a black woman in the UK.
Yeah. So has journalism always been your thing?
No, I did American studies. I've always wanted to be a journalist. I got into King's, and I'm extremely passionate about American literature and history and how race relations is so prominent there. So I think the idea for Ballad probably started actually in my degree. I took every module possible that revolved around race. I wrote my dissertation on colorism with a heavy focus on Ebony magazine. And I started to realise then there was nothing that was like that here for black women. So an American Studies degree is what I did, and in my spare time I interned in like every single magazine house in London. Oh
wow, so it's kind of like everything was kind of leading up towards, even from your degree and then the experiences that you had as a journalist. So tell us about maybe when you were interning, what was that kind of like for you?
Ooh, it was an interesting experience. I think it raised more questions for me, like why do men get to make decisions about women's bodies, what women wear, what women talk about, but there's no black women or no Asian women making these decisions. The decision makers are white women and white men. Even publishers, and when you look at the business side of magazines, they're usually all white men, and it just raised these questions for me. And I always tell this story, which I think was a really defining moment in my career. I was interning at a magazine, and Whitney Houston had died, and I did a tribute issue to her. And they put like pictures from her childhood, and I realised the baby photo which they put in of her was Oprah Winfrey.
Oh wow.
And I remember saying to them, oh, there's a picture of Oprah, it's not Whitney Houston. And I definitely get it had been printed, but I thought, at that time, maybe just put a little correction, be like, hey, look, we got the wrong picture. It was like I'd murdered somebody. I had like several white women ask me like, why was I questioning it? Who did I think I am? And it just made me really see that black women are not allowed to be vocal when it's justified even, and we're not allowed to voice our opinions. I can even now hear like the comments that will be made behind my back. Who does she think she is? Like, she's just an intern. But I'm a black woman, and I want to be represented properly. And I think you can make mistakes, but I think the fact they weren't willing to apologise for the mistake was when I thought, you don't really care about black women. You think all black women are the same.
And what about yourself, Bola? Were you always in journalism?
No, absolutely not. I studied business management and finance, and then during the course of my degree, I realised I was really interested in marketing, just in terms of the ability to sort of build brands and to use marketing as a way to have a relationship with your customers. So after my degree, did an internship, and then I got a role as a research analyst for a digital marketing company. And whilst I was doing that, Tobi was talking about, oh, I'm thinking about starting this blog. Do you want to help me? Actually, no, you are going to help me. So that was my sort of like introduction into the world of publishing and journalism. Marketing and media, they're like brother and sister. Right. They both work together anyway. So whilst Tobi's interests and passions and abilities work very well with the sort of content creation side and the journalism side, my natural interests lean towards the sort of marketing and advertising and the business side.
Okay, awesome. So the audience don't actually know. Would you guys like to tell us your relationship status as in relation to each other?
You can tell.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we are business partners, we're co-founders, but we are also engaged.
Awesome. I thought you were married.
Well, we've done our traditional wedding.
Yeah.
And our white wedding will be in the spring.
Okay, there were arguments on TL about whether the engagement signifies marriage or not, but
depends who you ask. Like, our grandmas in Nigeria don't understand why we're doing a wedding ceremony. It's done, it's dusted, they're married. So, and it's so confusing. So I'm just like, husband, it's just easier.
But the reality is, if we go to any sort of legal place in the UK, we're not seen as married. So you have to sort of fulfill the law of the land, sort of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So what's it like working with your partner?
What's it like working with me?
It's a really good experience. I don't know. I don't think it's. I think everyone thinks it must be really hard, but it's not actually that hard. We get on. Yeah. And I think we just kind of have a good division of labour. We know our roles. We've been together in a relationship for 7 years, but Ballad has been going for 4 years. Yep. So, there was a pretty solid foundation before Black Ballad came into the picture, and I think that has helped us work out what works for us, even in a business sense, who does what, where the boundaries are. And we've become pretty good at leaving Black Ballad at the office. We do work at home, but once we've shut down. Yeah. And it's usually Netflix, and just really probably like boring to other people that we just kind of watch Netflix and basketball and just so it's good, it works for us.
I would say that it's situations like this, they can be quite intense, and in intense situations things rise to the fore, and then you'll really see what things are made of. And it just so happens that as things got more intense, we all realised that I really like spending time with you. And that works professionally and personally, sort of thing. So to us, it's not a big deal at all. I mean, we, like Tobi said, we've got a very clear division of labour. We do very different things in the business, and it's all stuff that needs to get done. So we crack on as best we can.
Do you feel like it ever gets too much?
No, not really. I think we just we have our own sets of friends as well. We have our own interests and things that we like to do by ourselves anyways. And I think that's good for us. And I think we also open each other up into different interests. Like, I'm very into like museums and like exhibitions, and Bola's not necessarily into that, but he'll come with me and it will be an experience that we can talk about. And I'm not a massive sports fan, but being with Bola, like, we watch basketball games together, and I can always be like, oh, the history of basketball, and then I'm looking at how like race relations has played a part in basketball. So we really open each other up to different interests.
It's a shame you've not jumped in with wrestling as well as
everyone has
basketball.
Boundaries.
Fair enough. Okay, so one major question I do want to ask though, so a lot of people go into like content creation and blogs and websites and stuff, but When did you actually start turning the initial ideas into revenue?
So that started with the crowdfund really. So in the summer of 2016, we just had a look at the platform, and realistically speaking, I knew that we weren't going to be able to make meaningful enough revenue from just advertising based on how we wanted to create our content, and we were trying to figure out what we should do next. So looked around the industry, looked at the trends, and I saw that actually memberships and subscriptions was a thing that was going to become a lot more popular over the next decade plus. So we did a crowdfund at the end of 2016, and we raised around £11,000.
Oh, wow.
And that enabled us to sort of rebuild our site, redesign our site, and focus our content creation less around trying to go quote unquote viral or trying to get as many hits as possible, and more about actually serving the people that we want to serve with our content. And I think that's actually an important piece, that your business model or how you make your money actually works hand in hand with your content. The two work together to serve an ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Nice answer.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, so you recently made the 30 under 30 Forbes list.
Yes.
How does that feel? Number one.
It feels good. It's a nice honour. But for me, I think you just kind of have to be like, yeah, it's great, and then like, what's the next thing? I don't want to be, oh God, they made Forbes, and then what else? Do you know what I mean? Like, you see some people and they might have achieved something, it's in their Twitter bio, and you realise that achievement was like 3 years ago. And why are you laughing? It's just true. And for me, it's always like, I'm competing with myself. Okay, so Forbes is this year, but then what's next year? What's the next goal? It's ticked off the list, and it's great. And I think one thing I've been trying to do is really enjoy the moment of Forbes and say that I deserve it, because I have worked hard for it. It's not something that came overnight. Like, people say congratulations for Forbes, but Forbes was 4 years in the making. It wasn't something that happened, you know, like last week they said, oh, you know, do you want to be on the list? Like, it's 4 years of hard work to get there. We went to the Forbes party, and then like, we had a good time. And then I had a drink, so I was like, can we get some ice cream afterwards?
Yeah.
So, hey, we celebrated in our own way. So,
I mean, for me, Forbes being on the 30 under 30 list was a personal goal for me. It wasn't so much for Tobi, but it was definitely sort of like a bucket list thing. Like, this is something that I really want to achieve, along with my sort of goal of owning an NBA team somewhere down the future. So it was definitely like, so when we did get it, it was like, wow, like, dreams can come true and all of that stuff.
Where do you kind of see yourselves as a brand in 5 years' time, 10 years' time?
Ooh, you can go for it.
I think you should go first.
Really? Okay. 5 years' time, where I see the brand, I want to be more of a lifestyle brand for Black women. I want us to have events that are not just London-based, but the breadth of Britain. So we truly are for Black women in Britain. I think that is our big goal, and that means getting content creators are not just from London, that we have regular contributors that are from Scotland, Dublin, Birmingham, Manchester. We really want to make sure we have, I don't know if mastered is the right word, but at least served Black women in Britain wholly and completely. It should be a point where nearly all Black women in Britain know what Black Ballad is. They might not be a member, they may not even have to like it, but they know what it is. And they should know that, oh, we have a content creator, or they've had this event in this city or in this area. I think going up to Birmingham really kind of crystallised that that's where we want to be in 5 years' time. From
a business standpoint, I do really want to see Black Ballad being held as a viable example for others to follow. And we've spoken to investors and other people from the outside that aren't in our community. They've always said, well, it's quite niche, isn't it? You know, just Black people, just Black women in the years. It's a bit small, but just because it's quote unquote small, it doesn't mean it's not viable. It doesn't mean we can't have something of quality for Black women in Britain. And I think it's really important for us to achieve that benchmark of maybe not from an overall audience standpoint, but certainly from a quality and reputation standpoint, something that sits alongside your mainstream lifestyle publications and lifestyle brands, and for us to say that we're equals. And I'd also love for us to be working with a lot more Black-owned businesses, as well as businesses that want to speak to black women in Britain specifically.
You're creating a space for black women that they can come to and read articles that are relevant to themselves, but you're also providing jobs for people, for freelancers especially. Tell us about that a little bit.
For us, I think the membership, it wasn't just about making the business sustainable. It was about how do we provide, for me anyways, black women with great training and how to be great journalists. And being a great journalist means getting paid. You should be rewarded for your work financially. And the great thing about our membership is a black woman pays into Black Ballad, but then a black woman gets paid by Black Ballad. And creating this chain is really important for us because black women don't get the opportunities in journalism. Journalism is 94% white, 0.02% are black journalists. We make up 3% of the population. A lot of the black women who are writing for Black Ballad is the first time they're getting paid for their work. And to be able to give them that sort of self-esteem is really important for me. And one thing I really want to achieve is that I hope Black Ballad can be a training ground for black journalists and black creatives. They may not stay at Black Ballad, but these are the women that can go to the BBC, they can go to the Times, they can go to Marie Claire and say that I've had work experience at Black Ballad, that you can take me seriously as a journalist. I don't just have a blog that I write on when I want to. I've had serious training.
How does it work then? Do you scout for people? Do people come to you with article ideas? Because obviously I had a look for your website and there are regular updates. Like, how does that work?
People send ideas in. I always try to tweak like a kind of formula of how I like my pitches. And I do miss some pitches, I have to admit, because I am the only one who's doing the editorial. But usually if an idea is good, it usually doesn't slip through the net. Sometimes I see writers that I really, really love and I'll just reach out to them and be like, if you ever want to write for Black Ballad, feel free.
So we're getting close to the end of the interview now, but I really do want to find out, how do you go about getting people to invest in your brand, other businesses, maybe not just black owned? How does that process kind of work?
So if we're talking about sort of investors with large amounts of capital, if you find the answer, please let us know, because that's not something we've had the privilege of finding. For us, as I alluded to earlier, when we have come with our idea with regards to Black Ballad, the critique has always been it's too small, it's too niche, it's not going to provide enough of a return.
One of the reasons I think investors is very male dominated. Like I was talking to somebody about it, and male and white dominated. And someone I know has a project, she has to present it to all these men, and they was like, no. But then when they spoke to their daughter about it, the daughter was like, oh my God, I love the idea. And they're like, oh, okay, so
the investor will invest because of their wives and daughters instead of seeing that it actually has business and commercial value and potential. Because
these investors are white, they don't get why Black Ballad is important. They don't get why there's potential in Black Ballad. We've been turned down for investment because of that. I'm not willing to change brand, the mission. So I think with investing for us, it's kind of something that we've just put to the side. And I always say, I kind of feel like our members are mini investors anyways. They really are our board. Like, we listen to them. If they have something that they're not happy with, you know, I try and answer an email. I'll try and explain why I've made that decision if I can. Or, you know, I'll be like, okay, let me think about it. Maybe you're right. Do you know what I mean?
And they tell us every month or every year whether they are happy with our service, because they either choose to renew or they choose to cancel. And so from that standpoint, it's actually super accountable. If we don't please our audience base, if we don't please our customers, then you know, we go out of business.
So what's event management like for you guys? 'Cause I know you said you do like monthly events and it can't be easy.
No. Events is my side again. There are a lot of work I have decided on about for the rest of the year. I think in my head, I've got like 10 events down, and I've decided possibly on location or theme for each month. You have to be very proactive in events. Like, you can't sit and wait around for June to happen, for June event to be spoken about. You have to be like, okay, we're in January, so February, March, and April kind of, June events are already kind of in place. And it's very time consuming, but event management, it works if you're proactive. If you're sitting around and waiting, it doesn't work.
Like, just broadly speaking, the events are just a really great way to bring our community together.
It's a bonding experience.
It's a bonding experience for us on Black Ballad and the Black Ballad community. We get to engage with them in a way that you just can't over online. I mean, you can see each other on the Twitter streets and at each other and whatnot, or even in our private community. But there's something different about having all of our members, all of our customers in one place, enjoying each other's company, listening to each other speak, sipping on cocktails.
Is there ever the fear that no one will turn up? Because I'm just jumping into the world of events and I'm like,
Always.
Yeah.
Always fear that no one's going to turn up. You always fear that you're not going to get speakers. Always fear that you're not going to get speakers turn up. Vendors not turn up. I always have that little panic before we put an event out anyways.
Me less so. You know, my fear is that not that people won't turn up, but rather that we've got the concept wrong. Because we know for a fact that our audience want to meet up and talk with each other and network with each other. I was talking in Black Ballad's DMs with someone the other day and they said, regardless of how much you're charging for an event, I will always be at Black Ballad events. So we know that there's really demand for it. But if we mis-execute on a concept or an idea, that's the fear for me, because like that's what everything sort of hinges on.
Yeah.
There's something I think I've noticed this year though, and something I noticed about you guys before I reached out to you, is that there's beauty in community and togetherness. Do you feel like Black Ballad would have got into where it is now if it was just one person working on it and kind of pioneering the whole thing? Or do you feel like having the pair of you gave you an advantage or made things slightly easier when things got tough?
Oh, I think definitely that pairing has made it easier, because the skills that I have, Bola doesn't have, and I don't necessarily have Bola's skills. So we complement each other in that. You know, I think I should be very clear, Black Ballad just isn't me and Bola. It is in that way, but people like our illustrator, Camilla, the beautiful illustrations you see on Black Ballad is a girl called Camilla Rue, who I have phone conversations with or email exchanges with. I did give her no direction. I just say, look, this is the article. And she captures this vision every single time. All the beautiful pictures you see at events is by our photographer, Told, who drops everything to try and make sure she can photograph women in their glory, and I give her no direction and she just goes for it. All the writers that contribute to Black Ballad, I don't write anything on the site apart from the newsletter. All the writers make Black Ballad what it is, and I think we had this discussion the other day and I was going to possibly write that in a newsletter. Black Ballad's a community, a non-exclusive club, and what we mean by community is that Black women truly have their say. It's just not my voice that's, you know, dominant and like steering conversation. There is a lot of articles of Black Ballad that I personally wouldn't write and personally don't agree with, but it's really important if you're going to have a community that you have a mixture of opinions. And we don't want to be like a club where it's only a certain amount of Black women can come to, and certain type of Black woman can come to. Every Black woman is welcome at Black Ballad, and I think that's the beauty of our community.
So do you guys have any like slogans or any sayings that you to Black Ballad that you want to just put out there as we wrap up the interview?
So the editorial content is, I always live by this thing of, it is the human experience through the guise of Black British women. That's simply it. Especially when I'm looking for ideas, it's like, how can you tell the human experience through our eyes? In terms of the overall mission, it's just simply helping Black women in Britain to live their best lives.
We find that regardless of what the experience is, whether it's content, whether it's an event, whether it's
buying,
whether it's buying from Black women businesses, as long as we're helping Black women in Britain live their best lives, it normally helps to pin everything down.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the Hub. We've had a great time having you, and we wish you all the best of luck for all your future endeavours.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You too. We are Tobi
and Bola
from Black Ballad UK.
And this is The Hub on mochunkstv.